America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Hello and good afternoon for anybody out here in the States. Good evening for those of you in the UK, and good morning, good day, and good morning to those of you in the Australian time zone. Hope you're keeping well. This is episode number 35. Can't believe I'm doing the 35th edition of this, but I have a special guest lined up for y'all today. It is such a special treat, and I know that everyone tuning in live or watching this on playback, they're going to agree as soon as they see this man's shining face. But how are you doing? Happy Wednesday, hump day. Hopefully you're doing the humping and not getting humped. We'll see how the week pans out. But for me, I'm conquering the week, and I hope you are as well. Hope everyone's feeling fresh and blessed, refreshed, ready to take on the second half of the work week and keep it pushing. But how are we doing today in the chat? How are we doing today in the poll? Let me know. Hit the like, participate in that poll. I see 30 votes, 19 likes. So 11 of y'all want to partake in the party, but don't want to bring no free beer. It costs you absolutely nothing. Hit that like, or you can hit a dislike. I say to do either or, because at least that lets me know where you stand with the show, where you stand with me as a person. Because honestly, if you dislike the video, I can take it. If you do nothing, that's harder for me to accept. So if you're here, hit a like, hit a dislike. It's probably not good for the algorithm, but at least it lets me know. We get about 4 people who dislike the video. So maybe it's not intentional that some of y'all partake in the poll and don't hit the like. I know something to do with viewers on television sets, etc. But however you are digesting United Spurs of America, I appreciate you, whether you like, whether you dislike. Share, subscribe, hit all the notifications and all that fun jazz. But if you do all that, I love you so much. Love me tender, like a chicken tender filled with some hot barbecue sauce. Sounds good. That's what I had for dinner last night, by the way, with a baked potato. But anyway, this is not a food show. This is about Spurs. Let me just see who got the first place prize today, and then I'm going to bring on my guest. I wanted to build up a little anticipation. I haven't spoken to him actually I did speak to him not too long ago, but in a forum in which I have just him and I can just pick his brain for the wizard he is. Can't wait for you guys to interact with him as well. See, Sherman gets the first place prize today. Says, like the great Moneybag Yo once said, I'm juiced up ocean spray. Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Couldn't have said it better myself. Shout out Moneybag Yo. But without further ado, let me go ahead and also say shout out to the Patreon members, shout out to the YouTube chat members, and big ups to C. Sherman and Alan Tennant Sibley each and every time. Big up Rich, big up Roy, and there's Alan Sibley says, have a great show, lads. And I'm going to show you why this show is going to be great. It's not just going to be good. It's going to be next level, next tier. If I was a journo and I had a little silver thing next to my tier, it would be, this show's about to be a gold tier, golden tier episode. Let me welcome him on, without further ado, the one and only Kuva from 3 Spurs Boys. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. I love the build-up. Thank you, Jacob. I think people are too quick to dismiss a compliment when they get it, so I'm not going to do that. Thanks a lot, mate. It means a lot. Always good to be on your show as well. We always hit it off. Yeah,
I try to help, and hopefully, my son screaming in the background, I promise you, he's not being tortured like a baby lamb. It's what it sounds like, but I promise you that's not what's happening. He's just fighting his sleep. If you have kids, kids, they're going to fight that sleep, but he'll be knocked out here soon, and then you won't hear any baby goat screaming in the background. But Kuva, thank you for being here. I know last season was a tough season for fans such as yourself who've admired this club for a long part of their life. And you know what? It really hurt me to see where a lot of fans were. Michael, the other half of this podcast, was even, not feeling it. You weren't feeling it. A lot of people were down and out about where we were. You had coined the phrase toys instead of Coys. Turn off, you Spurs. And you know what? It's fair if that's how you felt. And I accept it. But for me, I'm just really glad to see there's like it's a new vibe. I've been calling it Super NES, Super New Era Spurs, because one, I liked the game console when it came out, and two, I feel like he's changing the game, but he's also doing it while keeping our tradition intact. Would you agree with that, Kuva?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, over the past 4 years, it's been miserable, absolutely miserable. I've not untrue to say, I've enjoyed the football under Pochettino more than any other time in my life. I've supported for 47 years now, and it was sensational at its peak under Pochettino. We lost our way. I mean, people say about the club's DNA and we've lost it and everything. This man in now, Big Ange, he understands it. Entertaining football, attack, take the game to the opposition, be brave.
I like the way you said it. Yeah, exactly. That's our whole motto.
We completely forgot all of this. I could not. Don't care what people say about Conte and Mourinho. I hate that sort of manager. Cannot stand them. I've got respect for them. I'm sure they've won things in their careers multiple times. Especially Mourinho, he's a trophy machine. But I just can't stand watching that sort of football. I've got to be watching my team throw the kitchen sink at the opposition at all times. Total football. The old school Dutch Johan Cruyff type team style of taking the game to the opposition. Play football all the time. That's why always love defenders like Jan and Toby, footballers. Not just these blood and thunder sort of stoppers that don't have a lot to their game. Get the ball on the deck, pass it around a bit, and thrill fans. Get people out of their seats. Wow, I want to see some majestic football. Entertainment. It is entertainment. Can't lose sight of that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is absolutely entertainment, Kuva. So I really like the way that you said that, and I do appreciate your perspective immensely, because I feel like, someone who's obviously American, not born into it. It wasn't something that was part of my upbringing. I didn't witness the greatness in front of my eyes, like a lot of fans have, and I think to have someone like you and like Paul from Hotspur Hippie, it really helped me feel like I'm touching a piece of history, because you've seen, quite frankly, legends come and go. And I think I do want to ask you a little. I know Harry Kane no longer plays. I know it's time to move on. Michael told me to move on. Okay, we've texted a little bit about it. The Harry Kane deal. You've seen greats leave. What is your advice for someone like me who might still be wondering when the next time Bayern Munich plays?
Just enjoy your football. I'm going to carry on watching Harry Kane. I've taken interest in playing for Bayern. Why? Because he mattered. He was a hero for the club. I don't see anything wrong with continuing to follow him. The thing is, yeah, like you said, I have seen heroes come and go. Gascoigne leaving, Hoddle leaving. Both of them I must admit, I got tearful over because they were just such immense talents. Harry Kane, I'm used to it now. I mean, I'm 52 now. This
is my first club legend to see leave. And honestly, even my wife, the week of him leaving and then seeing the pictures of him training in the Bayern Munich gear really just made me not feel good inside. So I had a buffering week where I said, I'm going to give myself a week. It's been well over a week now, and we've gotten to see 2 matches under Ange Postecoglou, which, to be quite frankly, there was a moment in the Brentford match where I was like, damn, if that's Harry Kane, he finishes that instead of Richarlison.
Yeah,
I would say I didn't really think about Harry Kane during United match, though. I didn't think about Harry Kane once. I was just enjoying what I was seeing, enjoying the football, and I think that's kind of goes back to the point that you were making, Kuva. That's just a style that we all want to see, and honestly, like for me as a fan, Pochettino was the best thing since sliced bread. I just gave Jose and Conte such a chance because we almost tasted glory. We were right there. And it's just like hoping that, it's like the after party of the after party. You're not supposed to go to the after party of the after party because there's no good going on there. That was Jose. Yeah. Then we went to another after party with Nuno that wound us up with Conte in the end. So it's like at a certain point, it's just time to go home, go back to, where you belong and reassess and start anew. And I think that's what we've done under Ange. I think we've decided to say, you know what? No more after parties. We're not going to keep chasing that high that we were at. we're going to stop and assess where we are. But the only question is that and it hasn't been answered. It was momentarily hinted at that they were going to answer is the board now going to follow suit on this whole ethos of we're redoing how we've done with the Joses and the Contes, and we're changing things and going back to, our to dare is to do. That's kind of something that I think's fallen by the wayside. Really, since Nuno said it in his opening interview. Since then, it never really felt the same for me. But now it feels like that's something that we can embrace. So, I'm just curious. I guess the time will only answer that question. It's not really something. I mean, we could speculate all day about it, but I think in the end, time will prove if the club's going to do the right thing in regards to supporting Ange Postecoglou. Because if you think about it, James Maddison deal with Harry Winks, I love that bit of business. Say what you will of the people pulling the strings at the club, but to get James Maddison in and Harry Winks gone, and it only costs us about 30 mil at the end of the day, I think that's a pretty good deal. The Harry Kane deal, as emotionally as much as it hurts, the rational side of my brain said, hey, we just got premium dollar. At the beginning of the window, I said 100 million, and that's the lowest I'll go. And then I got even talked down as the longer and longer it went, the more it drew on, and the Harry Kane saga drew on. I was like, okay, 85. But the whole time, the club ended up getting the most for a guy at 30 years old with 12 months left on his contract. To me, that's two bits of business that I think we have to give some credit to the club for, which gave me hope that we would be changing. But now it almost seems like, with how long the Mickey Van de Veen thing went on, the Tapsoba deal, that's now not going to happen, the Gift Orban, and some of these other deals, now it's like, okay, this is back to the same old Spurs, right? What do you kind of feel with that? Are you just saying, I'm going to put the business side to one end, and I'm just going to focus on enjoying the football, or where are you at?
Well, that was a lot to take in.
Yeah, that was. It was kind of a pair of...
Have you met Sean Butler?
Who?
It's one of his style of questions. Yeah, it is the big question. What is the board going to do? Because I've got full, absolute 100% faith in this manager of ours. Every word he says in press conferences, I'm hanging off. He speaks my language. It's like singing to my heart and soul about how I want football to be played. Absolutely love him. Now, do I give the chairman credit for getting money for Harry Kane? That's kind of money. Yeah, the figure's good, but then you've also got to take into consideration this was just a couple of days before the season kicks off. It would have been a much better piece of business if he did it middle of June, something like that.
But at the middle of June, weren't Bayern at the stance? They were trying to give us 65 million pounds. I think it was like 80 million euros. So it's like 65. And to me, this currency exchange, I hate the euros. Don't offer me euros. What am I going to spend my money on, right? We're English club spending English pounds. So like when they say, oh, it's 80 million euros, 100 million euros, what does that actually...
You've got the added complication of turning it into dollars as well then, haven't you?
For me personally, yeah. But luckily, Tottenham only operate with the pound. So, but, at the moment you're saying, like, right in the middle of June, I really felt like there was this battle of how much do I gamble here on the fact of Bayern coming up on their price to where meeting us where we wanted it, to the season's about to start. The players either going to start week one and play for us the rest of the season, or you get them out the door. And I think it was just one of those. To me, it felt like a Western standoff. You know what I mean? Who's going to shoot the shots first? And it was almost like we were just standing there and just waiting for months and months. I agree, it was frustrating on how long it took, but at the end of the day, we got maximum value, right? I mean, I know it's not my money, so at the true end of the day, it doesn't affect me whatsoever, because whether it's 100 mil, 120 mil, 80 mil, at the end of the day, it's not in my pocket. But from the club's perspective, I think that was a good bit of business. I don't know. But I'm curious, someone like you, how you feel. You've gone through 20-some years of this ownership to know when they're pulling your strings a little bit, when they're trying to win you over with an Antonio Conte type signing. You know what I mean? That kind of business, that let's win the crowd back over type. And we definitely did that with Ange Postecoglou. But do you think Is it detrimental to us that it went on so long, the business with Bayern?
For me, yes. What are we trying to achieve this season? If we're trying to force our way back into Champions League places or something like that, competition's tough. If you go into the season and you haven't got a settled squad that you bought over the course of the summer, and they've had all pre-season together, learning how each other are playing, and we've still got transfers coming in going into September, how many points do we drop in the meantime because of it? Because we're lacking that striker, because we're lacking that extra player that can unlock a defence or extra bit of cover at the back. How do you really gauge that against the sale of players? Or in a lot of cases, the lack of selling players. We still have an awful lot of players
That's
we
a good point.
cannot get rid of.
Yeah.
So for me, the window at the moment, to rate it any more than like a 5 out of 10, I think it's not justified. However, there are some good things about it. Certainly, James Maddison, Van der Ven looks excellent. He's growing more and more as he plays. It's put new lease of life into Romero. I think he's got a defensive partner. He looks like he can trust now. Porro has in the last game proved a few doubters wrong about his defensive ability.
Wow.
Which one thing I was saying, I do believe you can turn a winger into a better defender, but you can't make a defender with no flair or imagination a more creative player. It's not going to happen. So,
are you referring to Emerson? Emerson got a little flair.
To Emerson, yeah.
Emerson's got that no-look flair. That
God, yeah.
Got you, Kuva. Look left, I'm passing right. Look left, I'm passing.
Yeah, no tackle defending, and no clue positioning.
I think I was keeping track in the preseason. He went 0 for 3 with the no-look passes. 3 no-look passes in the preseason went to nobody. Is what I remember tracking.
Yeah, it's fun. You know what? I like his attitude. If he had some basic talent, it'd be a great player to have. I think he seems quite popular with the players.
Yeah,
I love his aggression. I love his willingness to work hard for the team. There's lots of things he does right, but at the end of the day, is that the kind of player you want, or do you want somebody that is just a damn good player? Forget the attitude alone isn't enough. That's what keeps the sort of minnows up occasionally when they get into the division. That team ethic and the work rate, because they haven't got the talent to go with it. What sort of club are we aiming to be? One of those? I don't think so. I think we should be aiming a lot higher. Likes of Emerson Royale, not good enough, but I agree with you. That's my opinion. A lot of people don't think that way. I think the same with Højbjerg. I think he's vastly overrated. Actually, to be fair to him, he does have the occasional killer pass or goal in him. He just
the thing with Højbjerg, he's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And in 20 minutes or 90 minutes, he's going to show you all three. And I think he proved that with his substitute appearance. He did have that one really great pass, and there was a great turn that he had away from a guy who was pressing him when he had the ball there on. I think it was like on the manager's touch line. It's kind of right around that area. He had a nice turn from a United. I was like, oh, great, Højbjerg, that's fantastic. And then he passed it straight to, I think it was Bruno Fernandes or Rashford. I don't remember who it was, but he just so in a space of 20 minutes, he shows you everything that you like about him and all the things that frustrate you about him. So like I think there's a player there, but it might just not be here for us anymore. But honestly, since he's been here, you can't name me a more consistent midfielder that we've had since we've signed Højbjerg.
Midfielder, no, I have to agree. Well, Bentancur maybe it's been pretty
but consistent. Has he played one full season for us?
Well, no.
I'm just for argument's sake, when it comes down to the Højbjerg thing, I don't think he's good for us now. I don't think where we're at he adds anything. But depth. If we're looking from a depth thing, I've
got you then. Harry Winks. You didn't say it has to be consistently good, did you? Just consistent.
Consistent. You're right about that. He's very consistent.
There you go.
Kuva, I get so lost in conversation with you. It's been so much fun. On these episodes, I like to also interact with the chat. So I'm going to say what's up to the chat for a second. We're 22 minutes in. There's over 80 of y'all in the house. Make sure you are hitting that like if you so choose, or hit a dislike. Nothing worse than someone who can't make up their mind. So just make up your mind. Like or dislike the video. Let me know where you're at. Hurt the analytics, help the analytics, or the algorithm. I think that's what it is. Or not. But participate in the poll. I see 59 votes, 50 likes. So we're doing all right. How are you feeling about the window so far? 63% says frustrated. The dead wood won't leave for fuck's sake. And 17% says happy so far, but we need a lot more. I agree with both of those. I'm frustrated the devil won't leave. It's almost like that meme of the lion where they're pulling him out of the cage and he's got his claws in the dirt and there's a long line of where he's just trying to hold on. And it's like Hugo and Dyer, they're just not wanting to go. I mean, it took Winks a while to get him out the door. You know, he kind of stuck there to the door frame. But let's say what's up to the chat real quick. I'm absolutely so far behind. But if you have any questions for myself or Kuva and you don't want to super chat, if you super chat, we'll talk about it immediately. Obviously, it'll be very obvious when it pops up for me. But if you want to do the free thing, I'm a free 99 kind of guy. You want to do the free thing, hit a Q, and that'll tell me that's a question. And while I'm scrolling through saying what's up, I'll just star it, and then we can bring it up. And it's the free way that I'll still ask the question, you know, even when the chat's a little fast for me. So do that. It's free, or you can super chat, support the channel that way. Either way, it's good with me. But big up Peter Aga, big up. Big up Jazz Fusion. Perchy hit 2K. Congratulations, Perchy. Much deserved. Big up, sir. And then I think y'all were talking a little bit. Rich is in the house as well. I think I said hello to Rich. Fresh Fade Perchy. Absolutely. Gary O'Neill, big up yourself right now. Jazz Fusion, it is time for the immaculate vibes, my friend. Nothing but. Caption Grandma says, good day, presenters, guests, and audience. Big up Caption Grandma, YouTube chat member checking in. Big up Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs says, big up Jacob. Big up Kate, hope you're keeping well. Adrian Shroka says, good evening all. I almost... When I scroll with two fingers on the trackpad on my laptop, I almost always go left, and that's like to kick me out of the studio. So if I accidentally click myself out of the studio, Kuva, don't worry. It's just it was a mispunch. But big up Adrian Shroka. Rich says the intro music gives me immaculate vibes. That's the hope. Shout out my father-in-law for that. Gary O'Neill says we're supposedly in talks with Feyenoord over striker Santiago Jimenez. Interesting. I'm gonna actually pull that guy up. Who's the source there, Gary? Let me look. I'll look up that source. But great news that we're looking into somebody. Interested FC is what we tend to be. Jamie Git. Yo, Jacob, big up everyone. Big up Jamie in the house. Let's see here. Jay Ashraf is in the house. Cannot believe Leafy is wasting more money on Brennan, just like he did with Spence. We'll talk about Brennan Johnson in here just a little bit, but apparently we're definitely in for him, apparently. So glad Kuva is back on the circuit, says Luke. Big up Luke for that. Jamie Git giving some love to Kuva. Big up Beer Talk as well. Perchy says, I agree, Kuva. The football under them was god-awful in regards to Conte and Jose. Big up Jamie for that. Alan Bennett, 50 years for you. Big up Alan Bennett, thanks for being here as well. Big up yourself right now. Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. Chris Peters, evening Jacob, hope you're well. I am, sir, hope you are as well. Big up Terry Wright, says big up Jacob and Kuva. Yeah, the board, it's kind of funny, right? Rich says, well, given the speed of our outgoings, I feel it's only the football that's changed. Instead of, in regards to that really super long question I asked you, Kuva, you remember the long, it was like a
I can't remember
opening.
That
It was a long question. It was a Sean Butler. Shout out Spurs talk show every time. It was very much. I love Sean's question because the thing is like, you want to ask the question, but you want to like put some mayonnaise and some ketchup and some lettuce on it, and sometimes you make the sandwich too thick, and I may have with that question, Kuva, I may have made the sandwich too big.
Well, that's the trouble with hosting as well, because you want to have your own opinion as well. We can't just
I kind of want to throw it in there while I'm asking you know what I mean. Some people want spicy ketchup, and I just brought regular. But big up Rich, you could very well be spot on. Kaylee Davis, another YouTube chat member checking in. Harry who? She don't care. Kaylee Davis does not care about Harry Kane. Big up. I need to get there. Michael's there, and he loves Harry Kane more than me. I used to trade Harry. Anytime I started career mode, I'd always trade away Harry Kane and get a fast striker because I was like, he's too slow in the video game. And Michael's always like, the disrespect to the king. And then Harry Kane would go on that weekend, bag a brace and get an assist. And then he's like, what are you saying about the king now? And it's like, I love him, but in the video game, he's too slow. But Michael's moved on. And he has a little bobblehead of Harry Kane, and he loves Harry Kane.
That's why FIFA's no good. It's Football Manager for the connoisseur.
But now in FIFA, you can do Football Manager style.
Yeah, but it's still going to rely on those. You've got to have a fast player, isn't it?
That's true. That's true. Big up Jay Ashraf. Big up. There he is. Sean's here. We're blessed by greatness. Big up Spurs Talk Show. All signings are club signings, says the Perchi. El Tel Cocarel is in the house. Evening, Jacob and Kuva. Big up. Don't you dare ask long-winded questions, says Sean. That's my game. My bad. I'm taking a note. I didn't even mean to do it. I just kept adding to the question because when I see Kuva, there's so much I want to say, and like we haven't gotten to stream one-on-one or like when Michael and I and you like we have before, and it's just been a long time. So I'm super excited to keep talking Spurs with you because I know where you were last season, and I feel like the vibes are getting back up to good times.
Jacob. Now you're going into very long-winded justification for it.
There I go again. Big up Ben Kaufman. There's the link for Kuva and Bobby, 3 Spurs boys. Go hit that sub if you haven't already. Patty Hartnett's in the house. Big up, guys, and all in the chat. Hope you're all well. Howie's in the house. Says, big up, smash that like button. Big up, Howie. Appreciate you being here. Honestly, Conte has warped so many fans. It's madness. Interesting. Didn't know that. Big up Jules says big up Jacob and Kuva. Big up Jules in the house. The Perchi says, I don't want us signing Brennan Johnson, by the way. I just find it funny now a player we want to play big money for it. Now it's a club sign. Maybe you're talking to someone there. I don't understand what that means. DJ, let's face it. Big up DJ. Is that Beaker? It is Beaker. Or is it Breaker? From the Muppets, Kuva, this picture here?
Yes, Beaker, isn't it?
Beaker, I think it's Beaker, yeah. It says, let's face it, every single piece of business takes forever. It's seriously shooting us in the foot. Well, you know what? The window's going to close eventually. We only got one more match before it does, so we're almost there. And then we'll know what we got and what we don't got and who's here and who's staying, and I think it'll be all right. Santiago Jimenez, I guess that's what they're asking about. I must have missed that little bit of info. Need to do more research on him, Sean. Yeah, I need that Y Scout. Send me that login, Sean. Quit hogging the Y Scout login. Send it to your boy. So I can research players that way too. Big up Daniel Sandoval. Big up One Love. I'm interested to see what that comes out to. Marshall's in the house. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Marshall. Hello. Beer Talk is in the house. I already said what's up to Beer Talk, but big up Beer Talk. Bobby Andrews is in the house. Evening, gents. How are we? I'm doing well. Hope you are well. Says I'm late coming in. Apologies if this has already been discussed, but the only way we sign Brennan Johnson is if Spence goes the other way and it reduces costs. Thoughts? Now, there's also been mention of Tanguy and Ndombele, which he's already rejected a move to Nottingham Forest. Now there's ongoing talks apparently about sending Davinson Sanchez as part of that deal.
What's Forrest as well? Oh, I'm starting to like Forrest. They become the new Everton for us.
So
we can just shove players that way and they can buy anything.
Dan Juma got the number 10 over there. Did you know that? Shout out Arnaud Dan Juma. So this from the source, he's got a gold medal. So Olympic gold medal. Tom Roddy says that Tottenham will try and secure Brennan Johnson with cash plus player deal. Davinson Sanchez could be involved in the swap deal. Is what this lad is saying in regards to the Brennan Johnson deal. So Davinson Sanchez has been linked with moving away for Brennan Johnson. Tanguy and Ndombele already rejected a move. Have we offered Eric Dyer?
Please.
Let's just keep going down the list. Hugo Lloris, Eric Dyer, give us... Yeah, this is the thing. I'm perfectly fine with us getting this attacker at a reduced rate if it also gets us someone off the show, because we need someone to...
It's just sensible, isn't it? If you've got a player that you will not looking to pick very often, and somebody you really think that's going to add something to the squad, makes sense. It's just pragmatic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Practical,
absolutely.
I should say.
But big up Bobby Andrews. Hope you're keeping well. Happy Wednesday to everybody. We got just about 100 of y'all in the house. Make sure you're hitting that likes, hitting a vote in the poll, or hitting a dislike. If you just want to live your life that way, you could do it. It's a free universe. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. But so far, 56% says they're frustrated that the Deadwood won't leave the club. And honestly, I'm pretty frustrated with it too. The multi-channel says, I love Kuva. And you know what? I do too. I love Kuva too. So big up. A lot of love here for Kuva. Emil Mehik says Emerson is pure vibes. Sometimes you need a little talent to go with the vibes. And you know what? I hope I like the guy enough to keep him around. But I think you said it best, Kuva. He's just not good enough right now for what we want. And I think Pedro Porro showed versus United. This is something that we've all critiqued him was his defending. You got to think about it from a lens. We're saying, oh, look at Mickey Van de Veen and Destiny Ugodi, on the stage, their home Premier League debut, and you're playing arguably one of the biggest brands in the world. And that's a pretty big stage because all eyes are going to be watching a United match. There's millions and millions of people more who are going to watch our match because we're playing Manchester United. So for me, he also, he looked suspect at times. Let's not forget that our back line did make a few mistakes that we didn't have to pay for. So we were lucky on some fronts in that. But you know what? If everyone can have the attitude of Emerson, some Emerson attitude, I like the vibes that he brings. So
I love hearing that he gets teammates to round up all the abuse that's being thrown at him and read it back to him. And he takes it as inspiration to improve his game. I think. That's a fantastic attitude. It's a bit of
and Eric Dyer said today, "Oh, I don't pay attention to what anyone says. All I care about is what my family and my friends say."
I can see that.
Oh, that guy! I swear, Kuva. I have a little bit of something on him because, he's apparently been talking to somebody. He's been talking to somebody, and there's like all this stuff coming out about Dyer, like saying, "Yeah, I hear the online criticism." Oh, this is the same thing from Tom Roddy about Davinson Sanchez. But here we go. I'll share this part. So Eric Dyer on his Spurs future, he says, yeah, I'm planning on being here. So that's bad news. I can control playing well. I don't think he can. Being fit, training well, and playing well. Those are things I can control. Those kinds of things regarding the contract are something that involve other people. So there needs to be mutuality there. I can't speak for the other side on whether Spurs want to give him a new deal. But he says, all I can say is, look, I'm going to do what I can do and control what I can control. Try to have a good season. I don't know if I believe any of this. But the part that I really wanted to highlight here is where he says, I can control playing well. And I want to know, Kuva, when has he done this?
What's playing well in Eric Dyer's head? Pointing to the correct place, maybe?
I wonder how he feels about his Barcelona performance. Like, that would be a good gauge of, you were captain, we gave you the armband, how do you think you did on the day? Atrocious. Yeah, absolutely atrocious.
You kind of get what he's saying, but just don't agree. It's, he just doesn't play well, does he?
Yeah, that's like me saying, I'm going to control what I can control.
The only times he tends to dominate was when it's easy for him. What kind of defender's that? You need them when it's not easy to do something special. I think even Sanchez looks a better player than him, and he's been much maligned over the last few seasons, pre-season and even coming in deputising for Romero when he went off early in the opening game. I thought he did all right. He was. Yeah, good recovery.
He's definitely solidified that third spot, right? If we're saying Romero, Van de Ven, and then who's our third center back? I would say Davinson Sanchez. He proved in Barcelona, proved in the cameo versus Brentford that he is at least better than Dyer. And say as much as you can about that, because I know for a fact I want Davinson Sanchez sold. We have to have better as our third option if we want to be seriously challenging with the likes of the other big five and the big six.
Seriously, with Sanchez, if we can all put our bias to a side and forget all those games where he's made an absolute howler of some sort, who would you want when we're pushed up in the opponent's half of the field, which is how we want to be playing, who do you want trying to track back when somebody breaks the offside trap and is racing through on our goal? Do you want Eric Dyer to come back and try and catch him? Or do you want Ben Davies to do it? No chance. At least Sanchez has got a chance of recovering there. He's got value to the team.
That's a good point.
It's just we can do better, can't we? Well, we have done better. Van der Ven looks a quality player and has some pace. So somebody like that to go alongside, Romero. With Romero, he's the way he plays, that aggressive sort of, getting preemptive tackling and getting into the opposition before they got a chance to turn and pick a pass. It's a great attribute to have, but with Dyer, Davis, I don't see any of that. With Sanchez, not so much the preemptive tackling, but at least he can recover. It's just not. It's not perfect, but from what we got at the moment, he's worth keeping ahead of some of the others, isn't he?
Absolutely. Big up Hussein. Hussein says, big up you. Big up yourself right now. Izzy Hint says, why aren't we trying for Kyogo? I don't know that we aren't, but there's just been no rumors. But there is someone that Ange is familiar with that I also got a little bit of business on. Where is it? No, that's Brian Hill. I've got to go the other way. This guy. Allegedly, he's out. After a month, they spent 25 mil on this guy, and they're willing to let him walk for free after being there a month, because apparently the fans are upset seeing other clubs sign Neymar, San Maximin, Riyad Mahrez, Firmino, and I guess they're feeling like this guy was not high profile enough. So at the end, have confirmed that Jota can leave the club as a free agent after he joined them a month and a half ago. He'll be available as a free agent. Atalanta are keen on signing him. Allegedly, also, I read this yesterday. Well, I had a little thing about it, a little picture that I showed, basically saying that they want to sign Mohamed Salah, and they're trying really hard to push that this summer. They're trying to get that deal over the line, and that this guy should get out because of it. This is what it is. So this is allegedly what they're saying. And there he goes, a little Cuti Romero smile. Oops. Did I click that? Oops.
How unfortunate.
Oops. Didn't mean to click that. But big up Kaufman. Big up everybody in the chat. Y'all are absolutely killing it. Keep hitting that like if you so choose, or hit that dislike if you so choose. Participate in the poll. Let me know how you feeling if you so choose. It's a free world. Grab the free beer on the way into the party. Makes the party that much better. Adrian Lawrence is in the house. Howdy Milton Nobrega is in the house. Says howdy Jacob, all the way from Wollongong, Australia. Big up. Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well. Is this the room where all the bullshit is spoken? Says Brent Wojks. I don't know. It could be. Who says it?
Yeah, sometimes, sure.
Yeah, who knows? We try and keep the vibes immaculate no matter what. And that's what we tend to do. So big up. Marshall's in the house. Windows excite me. Oh. I was like, what? Windows? That's kind of weird. You just open them and let the breeze in. Big up, Pack Maniac. Big up, Jacob Long-Winded Postecoglou. Big up, everybody. Let me make sure. I see y'all's questions. I'm going through and starring all the questions. Don't worry. Oh, wow. What a comment to leave up. I didn't even realize that was a good one. That was a good one there to leave up. Didn't even realize I left that one up.
No messing about.
I don't
feeling not a Conte fan there.
Or he is. Big up Balpinder. Big up Bobby the Greek as well. Zortex is in the house. Callum Roche, Jean Neth. This is all a cluster, if you ask me. It is absolutely a cluster. We're getting clogged up. Let me make sure. I'm going to go ahead and catch myself up, and I'm just going to go through and star any questions I see. Yes, Patty, I have it right here to show. Patty sent me this. Patty Hartnett sent me this in the mail.
What have you done to him?
I don't know why he hates me like that. I really don't know why he hates me like that.
Might have been the real thing. That would have been. Or would you have taken one for the team? Accept an Eric Dyer into your household for the season.
If it keeps him off the football pitch, sure. I'm sure he's a lovely bloke. I'm sure he's a cool dude you wouldn't mind hanging out with on the weekend. I mean, I'm sure, right? Everyone says he's such a good dude, but whatever keeps him away from the pitch is honestly where I land. Big up, what's the point? FC's in the house. Just making sure I'm going through and grabbing all this squabbling, bickering. We never used to be, Kuva. We never used to be like this, you and I, squabbling and bickering. But look at us now.
That's right. I can see the rage in your eyes.
I'm filled to the brim, baby.
You play your cards right.
I thought George Michael was dead, says Jimmy.
Yes.
I saw one of the comments, one of the replies to this. I wonder if it's still on here. They said, "Yeah, there it is. He looked too much like George Michael to be allowed to play in Saudi." I thought that was a good one. That's a funny comment there. He does a little bit. Is it the mullet and the stash, maybe?
Yeah, it's that hair, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be. Big. Got another YouTube chat member checking in. Elvis G. Evening all. Late to the party tonight. Everyone grab the free beers on the way. And absolutely, you always know the vibes. Big up Elvis for being here. What did I do? I said something smooth. I did something smooth. Conte was like my PE teacher. Don't know what that means. Mehdi's Shelby. Daniel Levy still in this world equals Spurs always going to be mediocre. But Daniel Levy could exist in a place in which he's not pulling the strings at Tottenham. So maybe he could still exist and then we could not be mediocre. It's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I think what we've got to hope for at the moment is Ange has the Pochettino luck and the team gels together with what we got. We start looking good. Perhaps then Ange will have that aggressive streak to say, I need this to go the extra step. And maybe they'll listen this time. If that happens, we'll win something. But odds are saying we won't, because we've got too many years showing we don't go the extra mile. It's both the whole business practice with Levy and Enoch. It's both positive in that it's getting us this far, but it's also negative that it holds us at this point as well. So if we need that big buyer to come along, really.
I think this is a perfect segue into my next little topic. I'm curious if now the approach could be different due to the influence of Ange Postecoglou, due to this Gabonini fellow being leading the charge with the data analytics transfer model. I'm curious if the tides could be turning. I guess I'm hopeful that the tides could be turning, but I don't know that it is. I just wonder if it could. And I'm going to pull this part up here. On Last Word on Spurs, sources, Ben Jacobs was on Last Word on Spurs. That's the sources there. He was on Last Word on Spurs and apparently says that Ange Postecoglou has not been impressed by Eric Dyer, regardless of the fact he wants to stay and fight for his place. And I'm curious if Ange, if you're watching this program, was it because of this little video that I played that's going around? I like that it's resurfaced online, but I'm just going to trigger warning for anyone fucking loser laughing about being a fucking loser about to play right now.
And you guys never win anything, right? No. Right? Yeah.
Maybe I'm taking it out of context, but apparently Spurs never win anything. But there you go. Starring the questions. It will be soon to be question time. But I want to ask you, Kuva, could this be the changing of the tides? Because Ange Postecoglou, Gabonini, we're going in this new approach. We've given him the 4 years. Allegedly, we're going to give him time. Some people are saying Ange will be sacked by Christmas. I think they're singing a different tune so far. But without making this a longer-winded question, Kuva, this comment that Postecoglou's not impressed by him. Eric Dyer's not even been near the 18 at all. He's been watching in the stands like a fan. I mean, he watches whether he's on the field or in the stands, technically. But this gives me hope. Does it give you any hope that Ange has influence as far as regarding our transfers, regarding where we're going forward with players, in particular like Eric Dyer?
Well, clearly he's got influence by picking the team. So Eric Dyer If he wants to play, he better start performing. I don't think he can perform. I don't think you do either, somehow, Jacob. So the pressure is going to be on him to, what's he want to do? Just pick up an easy wage, like we're suspecting? Or does he want to learn how to be a defender? But I don't think he can. Otherwise, clear off. Find your game time somewhere else. I just don't see it. What more can Ange really do, though? Just not pick him and say he's not good enough. I need a replacement. That's all he can do. Ball's in the chairman's court, then, isn't it? So of course there's influence. Picking the team is going to influence policy. That in some way, shape, or form, it has to. Players will be unhappy at not being in the team. If that's the case, and they still haven't got a chance of getting in the team, even if they're trying their guts out in training, they've got to be moved on. There's no way around it. Trouble is, I think we've got a very happy, settled squad where nobody really cares that much. Well, some are starting to, but nobody cares that much that they want to leave the club if they're not getting in the team. It's all very easy, isn't it? All buddies and all doing the same things, having a laugh, a joke.
I mean, as much as people want to hate on Conte, he did say a lot of things that we all feel as fans. These players don't want to play under stress. They want everything to be nice and comfy and feel good. I mean, Jose Mourinho said these players don't want to train. I mean, it's been an ongoing theme. Pochettino said, or the players said about Pochettino, his regiment was too rigid. I mean, there's always something these players got to say about it. And it's just, finally, I like the fact that it's now not the players saying, it's Ange saying, this guy has not impressed me. He's a loser, and keep him off of my 18. And actions speak louder than words.
Maybe we should have like sort of first class and second class section for the canteen and things. So the players that put in the effort in training get to go business class or whatever, and everybody else is in economy class, and has to make do with basic rations there. See how that changes then. Wooden benches and a bit of sawdust on the floor. They've got to work their way into a little bit of comfort by putting the effort in. Perhaps that's the way. Had it all too easy and just need somebody to stir it up a bit. Big Ange, is he the man? He certainly seems aggressive enough.
Yeah, he does. Shout out Moondog with the first super chat of the evening. Big up Moondog says, good evening, Jacob and Kuva. Dyer out. Dyer out indeed. But apparently he wants to stay and fight for his right to play in this squad for some reason. And I don't understand what it is about that. But you know what? Big up Moondog. Thank you so much for the dono to the channel. I appreciate that. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. We are here on 50 minutes on the show. Not sure how much longer we're going, but I did star everybody's questions that have been asking questions, and we'll answer them unless someone beautiful like Moondog decides to bless us with a super chat. Then I will interrupt for that. But I think this is a good time to go into some of the questions, Kuva, and let's see what the people are asking.
He's just putting another one as Moondog.
Oh, he has. Oh, wow. Big up Moondog says another super chat. I'll fight him. I did challenge him I did at the Cambridge University. If you remember, Kuva, I did do a whole thing where I was campaigning to fight me, Eric Dyer, you and Harry Winks. Harry Winks left, so I no longer challenge a fight. But I tried to say you, two professional athletes versus a stay-at-home dad. Surely, but don't call me Shirley. The favor is in their court. But you know what? They didn't take me up on it. Cambridge never got back to me. Daniel Levy didn't respond to any emails. So that's really unfortunate. But
never saw that coming.
No, I never saw it coming either. But big up Moondog. Thank you. Double super chats on the dot. Big up for that. Appreciate the dono to the channel for that. The first question I got here is from Barry and Baxter. It says, question, Jacob and Kuva. Would you be happy if we moved the Deadwood, replaced them with youth prospects, and finished in 10th? I actually would be completely okay. League positions sacrificed to get rid of the trash. Kuva, I'll let you open that one up.
Yes, because I've been supporting so long that I have long-term views on things, and I would be prepared to have a proper plan over the next 5 to 10 years, rather than just going through this instant success, try and grab that we never do. I would be okay with just seeing the way forward for the future, and some youngsters come in, getting plenty of experience and game time, and don't worry about it. As long as we're not going to get relegated, this season is all about implementing the style of play, getting players used to the manager used to the players, and moving forward in a coherent way. You build on it after that. That's next season is when we'll be able to sweep the decks, and next season go in with hopefully well vetted and scouted out players to add to what this ethos is. And if we can do that, every building block we're bringing in at that point is a huge step forward. So yeah, I'll be okay with that. No gain without pain sort of thing, really. It would be a tough watch for a season if we're going to be in 10th. But the way we're playing, I just don't believe it's going to be. I don't think we're going to do too badly somehow.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way there, Kuva, that I would be happy moving to Deadwood on, bringing some younger kids in, let the Ashley Phillips make a bunch of mistakes, get his feet wet, get his hair wet, enjoy himself in the deep end a little bit, and then you learn to swim and stop swallowing the damn water. So we've been floating here, but we're not swimming. I need us to swim, and we're just floating around. Eric Dyer's floating, Clement Longlay's floating, Ben Davies is floating. We're just floating along. We need some damn swimmers. Van de Veen looks like a swimmer. Ugodi looks like a swimmer. Papa Matesar. Ay Papi Chulo Matesar. These look like swimmers. And I like the way things are changing the tide. So absolutely Barry and Baxter. I am 110% okay with finishing in 10th. I agree with you, Kuva. I don't think we will. I don't think the way that we're playing, we're going to concede. There's going to be things that don't go our way for sure. But I just think it's going to be so much damn fun to watch. And teams aren't going to be up for the fight. We saw Manchester United for 35, 40 minutes look like they wanted to fight the fight that we brought to them. But over time, they didn't want that fight. They're not that guy. They thought they were that guy.
As Ange says, we never stop.
And that's the thing. These guys think, okay, we'll never stop either. And then they will stop eventually, and it's proved. And I think the longer that we go on, the more game footage opposing managers will have to say, this is what I think he's going to do in this X, Y, and Z, right? It's the plan against us. But for these first 5 matches, I said 3 were going undefeated, but I've said for 5 to 6 matches, Postecoglou is mostly unknown to these managers. They don't know how he's going to set that right. They could look at Celtic, they could look at Yokohama or whatever it was, and then Australia. But at the end of the day, they don't know how this man wants to play in Premier League. And he's always said, even in the preseason, don't buy into what I'm doing here because everything can change. I could be doing something for 2 months and it works, and then I think it won't work, and I'll just flip it and change. The fluidity, the desire for change and freshness, he showed it in the coaches he brings in. He welcomed in Mason. I mean, I don't like that move, but he welcomed in Mason to his coaching staff. He welcomed in the ex-Palace manager, the ex-Australian captain. He welcomed him into his coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? He freshens things up. He's not afraid of change, and that's something I think that I appreciate a lot that we didn't have. So,
I mean, it would have been great if we'd got this, what people would say would be a nightmare start to the season. If we'd been away to Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, I said Newcastle, that was Man City. If we got all those really big, difficult games in the first, couple of months, just come at them with people not really knowing what to expect from Ange, I think it would have worked in our favour. We played Man United at a great time because they're usually slow starters. So pity we couldn't get a few more in the early stages. Well, they're not quite in gear. You don't want to be going to try and get points from Man City on the last sort of 3 months of the season where they're winning every game. Get them in early. Plus, it's nice to see you get an idea of where you're really going in those big, difficult games, don't you?
Yeah,
it's no good, home to Luton and maybe smashing 5 past them, thinking we're brilliant all of a sudden, and then you go to the Etihad next week and lose 4-0. That wouldn't be a lot of good, really. You haven't learned anything.
Yeah.
So but don't be scared of any of the games. That's what I'm looking at this season. I'm really relishing every single game that comes along. that's so refreshing to be able to say that.
Yeah, and especially in such a short amount of time, Kuva, because I think a lot of us were not in a great place looking forward for. But Ange Postecoglou came in, and it was just boom. There's one brick. Boom. His first press conference, he's like, I might put another shrimp on the barbie. I don't give a damn. You know, it's just this attitude of like, everything's okay, y'all. Like, we're going to be all right. And it just almost felt like immediately your father was driving the car. I don't need to care about stoplights, other drivers. I have no cares in the world anymore because I feel safe. And so it was almost an instant thing for me. Paul from Hotspur Hippie was very much in love with this guy and has followed him for a lot of years. And he said, this is a guy we got to go get. And I was like, sure, Mr. Postecoglou. Like, who's this guy? I've never heard of him, right? And lo and behold, we're all losing our shit. And the whole world is starting to take notice. If you think about it, pundits, different forums like podcasts and talk shows and BBC Sports and ESPN is talking about Ange Postecoglou. Everyone's talking Ange Postecoglou. You know, what has he done? He's turning a lot of heads is what he's doing. And sometimes it's just such a beautiful sight to see. Honestly, I'm so excited. Like you said, I'm so excited about the future as well.
Yeah,
shout out to Irish Hotspur real quick.
Compare this season to last season. Going to Bournemouth last season, actually, you know, bit of fear about that. They thought we could mess this up. We nearly did, didn't we? But this season, I'll go there and I'm thinking we should just run them ragged, just run rings around them, come away with a result. Mm-hmm. I'm so confident in every game going up. I really am.
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't matter anymore. Like,
cannot wait to play at the Etihad.
And this is the thing for me, Kuva. Like, I've known going into this, we're going to concede goals at any given moment. We will concede a goal here or there. Just it's the style. It heeds conceding a goal, which we did not on the weekend, which was absolutely fabulous. But the style leans itself into conceding a goal or two. But Paul from Hotspur Hippie did say something. He coined a phrase that it stuck with me. Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't matter if you concede 4 goals, as long as you go put 5 on the other end. You still win the match. And to me,
it's an old way of old school fans looking at it in this country. I think it started with the Man United fans back in the 60s, something like that. And they said the same thing. Don't care if they score 9 as long as we get 10. It's the same sort of thing. I love that approach to football. It's just you go at it. There's no point boring people to death for a 1-0. I'm all for losing a few 4-3, win a few 5-2, and there's a couple of 3-3 draws in the mix, so you can find your feet, and then just do it better and better as you go along. That's kind of like what Man City did.
Don't say it too loudly now, Kuva. Don't say it too loudly now, because
they spent money as well though.
Big up, good night, Sean with Spurs Talk Show, and hello to the Irish Hotspur in the house. Everyone say hello to the Irish Hotspur, the go out here. Hotspur J's in the house. Edward Y of Oz is in the house. Big up Aaron Dub. Aaron Dub is in the house. Says, haven't felt this in love with Spurs for years. Ange boners. Yeah. And I think that's the best way you could say it. Ange boners for days. He is the new Viagra. He is the new Cialis. Blue pill, don't matter. He is that. I've said it this way. I feel like it's a barbecue, a big party, and everyone's invited. Now, people are going to show up when they want to show up. Some are going to show up. They're not going to show up hungry. I don't know if I'm ready to eat what he's cooking over there, but I'm just going to I'm here. I'm going to see. Some people, like myself, I came with swim trunks on. I've already jumped in the pool. I'm taking shots. I'm dancing. I'm ready for the food. I'm having a good time. That's where I'm at. Because this is a joy. This is an escape. This is entertainment. And to be all those things, to go back to doing those things and like give a damn about the rest, let's just have a good time. Let's see something entertaining. Let's see some goals. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm in the pool. I'm having a good time, probably a little drunk. But what's wrong with being a little drunk in love? You know what I mean? What's wrong with being a little
absolutely
hopeless romantic with your club again? That's kind of where I'm at. I've always been a hopeless romantic. Was not feeling the love. But yeah, man, go get Iago Santiago and Donnelly from the under 21. Better than Richie. Play the kids. Fuck it. I don't really care at all either. If this is my thing also. It's a trust fall, and I've already trust fallen, and Ange, I feel like, has caught me. And at this point, whatever he does, I trust. I don't fear. If he does go get Santiago out of the academy and Donley and Soon Sabel and whoever, you know what I mean? I trust Ange feels confident enough that this guy can do what he's asking of him. At least that's how I feel about it. Personally.
Yeah, I'd like to see us go back to what we used to do, and it's a sensible thing that most clubs do. And that's if in some games you play your first team, your strongest team, of course. But if you build up a 2-goal, 3-goal lead with a few minutes to go, don't be scared to bring some of the youngsters on. Give them a little taste. See if especially if it's a forward, maybe they chip in with another goal. How good is that for their confidence? How good is that for their development? Get used to the idea of being in this squad when we are winning things. It's a good habit to breed. As I say, losing's a habit, so's winning. So let's keep this roll going. Bring the youngsters in. I think it's great stuff. I've heard a lot of good things about Santiago. Haven't watched him play there. Haven't had time. Haven't seen any of the under-21s yet. Perhaps I should do.
I got a lot of grief because I pay for Spurs play. Well, Michael and I, we share an account. And I want to watch the academy. How can I be a person who goes on the internet and says, well, Tottenham never look at the youth. Why we don't have a pathway from the academy to the first team, and complaining about the Nani Maduekes, complaining about the Marcus Edwards and the Dylan Markandays. I can complain about it, but if I'm not watching and seeing who's coming up, how can I claim to have any know or stock in the fact of what's coming through our academy? So for me, as a content creator, I felt it was my responsibility to be as close in touch with every facet of my club that I can. And Spurs Play is one of those that it's great because, you get to see all the academy games. They're live. They didn't play. We stomped Man City 5-0, and they didn't play that one for some damn reason. Dave, I don't know why people were getting. Shout out Perchy. He was like, why would you? But Perchy was one of the people that said, why would you ever play for Spurs Play? What the hell? I was like, don't judge me and how I spend my money. I want to feel closer to the club. I want to see the academy. I want to watch the preseason matches. I don't want to see the Eric Dyer documentary, but damn it, if I so choose, I could. So I like having it. That's just how I feel about it. You said I couldn't find him, C. Shearman. As much as I would love to do this, I couldn't find the matches myself. So Spurs Play is a much easier way. And you know what? I don't have to deal with connection and stuff. Exactly. Spurs Play is great for academy. But other than that, it's pretty. I mean, after the preseason, it's now useless. Only for academy matches, it's useful. But in the preseason, that's how I've watched a lot of the preseason. Big up Marshall. Says, I'm off. Take care, chat. Great chat, Jacob and Kuva. Big up Marshall. We're getting some predictions in the chat. But before I do that, let me go down to the next question I have starred from Adrian Shroka. Big up, Adrian. If you're still here, I don't know. But whoever is here, hit a like, participate in the poll, or hit a dislike. I don't really care. 108 of you in the voting in the poll, 108 of you. And only 87 of you hit the like. So that tells me that 21 of y'all want to party but don't want to bring no beer. But Adrian Shroka says, question, do you two think injured players Sessegnon and Hill will make the 25-man squad?
No. Just don't. I don't see the point in either of them. At least Hill's got something he can apply his trade in Spain with. Sessegnon is just an absolute disaster. He's injured more than he's fit. And when he does play, he doesn't do anything. That's a pointless player. It's probably in the wrong sport, wrong industry.
Well, I did see this. I starred this. I wanted to show you this, Kuva. Brian Hill on Instagram said, getting closer and closer. Smiley face, flex, soon, ball, heart. And then it's a photo of him in black and white for some dramatic reason. Not sure why.
He's going to Newcastle. No, all right.
Oh, I see what you did there. But you know what? It's interesting. Some people have said that Brian Hill would fit perfectly into what Ange does and the style that we're playing, that he fits perfectly into that. I've always said all along that I think Maynard Solomon is the guy that everyone wants Brian Hill to be, which is that Guy who's got the ball glued to his feet, can dance up and down the touchline, cut it in and shoot. And I mean, I've really seen two things that I liked from Brian Hill and all the times I've seen him play for us. And none of them, I don't even think he scored a goal for us. I don't know.
Can't remember. He does so little anyway.
Dave, we have to address midfield and all
he might do two good things in a match, and that's his highlight reel, and people keep playing over and over and going, wow. I mean, was it last season or might have even been the season before? I remember him being on the wing, and he did this turn where, you know, it looked like he'd deceived a couple of players, and then he turned back with it again, and he was in the same place he was in the foot to start with, but everybody was raving about it. I thought, what's he done? He hasn't done anything there. He looks good at doing nothing. I think that's probably his mantra for the whole of his career.
Hey, he looked good doing it. At least there was that. But like, I need a little more. That's what I think about Solomon. I think he's got it. Big up Thaddeus in the house. Says big up to all the stay-at-home dads and all the dads who are taking their responsibilities seriously. Vibes immaculate as ever. Big up Moondog with a third super chat of the day. Big up Moondog. Says going to have a bet on a Richie hat trick. Richie hat trick versus the Cherries. Do you fancy it, Kuva? You like yourself a cheeky little bet. You gonna put a fiver on a Richie hat trick?
Not that one. I don't. How many games does he need to score the 3 goals? I don't think he's ever scored a hat trick in his career, has he?
Could you imagine? That would be 3 goals in 3 matches. He looks on pace for 38 on the season. I don't. Moondog with another 4th super chat.
I'll tell you what. Putting a bit of money on him to grab a goal, maybe could see that. But I always fancy the. This is probably a season where it's one of those bets that Moondog will like. Putting those bets on the likes of Romero or, you know, maybe Mickey van der Ven coming up with something, or Udogi. It's. I think we're going to have goals from unusual places all over the season. But Richarlison's probably the.
Can you imagine by the 3rd pigeon dance? He pulls something and is like, what are these muscles on the back of your neck? You know, like if you're looking a certain way and you doing the shoulder thing, you can like pull it real easy.
I suppose if you're doing a chicken dance, that really should be your pecs, shouldn't it?
I feel like you could pull a muscle easily if you're not.
See, I was doing a really bad joke there.
Oh, and I walked right over it. That's my fault. Have you ever heard of Cherami?
Cherami.
A war hero, a pigeon. A war hero.
Oh, yes,
pigeon.
yes.
The war hero pigeon.
Well decorated. We had this conversation on something the other day, didn't we?
We might have had it on that Friday call-in. It was madness on that Friday call-in show. But I might have mentioned it too, because we need Cher Ami, which is Cher Ami's responsible for saving hundreds of American lives in World War II, if you didn't know. But I'm worried if Richarlison does get the hat trick, too many pigeon dances might pull something in your neck, miss the next week celebrating. It's interesting. There's a lot of not controversy, but Mikel Antonio and Callum Wilson are talking a whole lot of shit about Richarlison lately. And Mikel Antonio had a good game versus Chelsea, and then I was like, "Come on, Richarlison, like shut him up this week." And he did not. He did not shut anybody up. And so, you know, I'm all for it, Moondog. I hope you're right. I hope we see a Richarlison hat trick. I called for a brace versus United, which obviously did not happen. C. Shearman on Brian Kill Messi says he will be good under Ange. I promise you. He now has his first coach that allows a player to have some freedom. Is it that we've been caging him, Kuva? We've caged the bird of Brian Hill too much that we haven't let him fly?
I just don't see it. Could be wrong, but I just see a player that doesn't look suited to the Premiership.
I agree. I think in La Liga he can fly around, have a great time, and have a lot of success, and he seems happier there. I just worry that, you know, they say the cold, rainy night at Stoke away. Can you do it? And I don't think that he can. But I mean, I'm all for him proving me wrong. I would love for him to prove me wrong.
Nothing better than being proved wrong about players at your club, because it means somebody's come good and it's saved you a lot of money. You're not constantly looking for a replacement. So when they come back strong and prove everybody wrong and go on the hot streak, it can only be good for the club. So I hope he does do well. I hope he does prove people wrong.
Here's the link for 3 Spurs boys before I go any further. That's where you can find Kuva every other Saturday. And at the coffee company, you can find him every Wednesday, right, with Brewing Bollocks.
That's right.
There you go. Big up Dub Shaman in the house. Yeah, Richie is no share. I mean, not yet, but maybe he will. Let the pigeon fly, says Chris Peters. Elle says, who's replacing Madison this week? Assume it's Lo Celso, but what about Kulu? I'm a Kuva?
It's a big loss already, isn't it? Shows the depth of our squad and how much you worry about it.
Well, everyone was saying, look at how good Giovanni Lo Celso performed versus the Singapore Sea City Sailor Lions. And look how good he was versus West Ham. And everyone talking about how good he is. Perfect time for him to step up and show us if he even gives a damn.
To be honest, pick either. There's a way around it either way. If Lo Celso comes in, it's just straight swap. If it's Kulu, we'll give Solomon a go on the wing, perhaps. You've got to stick somebody in, hope for the best, haven't you? Lo Celso was looking good pre-season. He does seem to understand the system of play we're doing, so I wouldn't have too many worries.
He still had them
either.
slump shoulders. He scored a goal, still couldn't crack a smile. I worry about his attitude still. Never liked the guy's attitude, his desired. I don't feel like he fights for the badge at all. When you look at the passion after Sarr's goal, after the Lisandro Martinez own goal, look at the passion. I don't see Giovanni having any of that. Maybe a smile and a hug is the most we can get from the bastard, but to me, I just don't think he gives a shit about Spurs, and I don't want anyone in my club who's like that. But, again, one of these players, I hope he proves me wrong.
Do you remember Benoit Assoakoto, the left back? Or perhaps it was before we really got into Spurs, maybe.
The name sounds familiar, but I think it's only because I've heard people trolling him.
He did really well for us under the likes of Harry Redknapp and that sort of time. Anyway, he famously came out and said he doesn't love football. It's just a job for him.
I remember that quote. Yes, I have seen that quote.
I thought such honesty was great, but he did a really good job for us. So I think you can lack the passion. It's okay. If you're professional enough and know what's required, you can do it. Yeah. Not a problem. Maybe Lo Celso is just one of those players. He doesn't get overexcited. He just likes to, let his football do the talking when he's playing well. Perhaps.
I like that you're giving them some benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah. Personally, I prefer a Paul Gascoigne going wild over everything he does, and running to the bench and screaming and getting the fans absolutely hysterical. That for me is perfect, but not everybody's like that.
Big up the chat. It seems to be on the side of Hill will come good under Ange. Jazz Fusion says the Hill monster will bite and hold on. Caveman says Kill in a Conte system was like Basuma in a Conte system. And Ed Sweeting, big up Ed, says I wouldn't be harsh on Hill if he can get fit in the next 2 weeks. Ange will keep him. He's played a total of 237 Premier League minutes in 13 games. I can't do that kind of division instantly, but that's what.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
A game, something like that.
I was trying to do the mental math, and I probably just look silly doing so. Kev Williams in the house. Jacob and Kuva, how the hell both are you? Good to see you. Big up, Kev Williams. Good to see you here. Kate, yes, I did on last Friday say who's going to talk to me nicely after Richarlison hits a brace, and he did not. So no one's been talking to me nicely, Kate. Not lately, anyway. Perrin Isaac says, think of Richie will get one. I think it's a little the Singapore Sailor Moon Lions. Yeah, the Sea City Sailor, Singapore Sea City Sailor Lions sees Sarah sails, she sails down by the seashore. Big up Psychedelic Shallon.
Yeah.
Do as he says. Smash them likes up to 100. Where are we at? I haven't checked. I try not to be annoying about it. We're 3 likes away from the big 100, and that's my personal goal is if we can at least get 100. And we surely, but don't call me Shirley, can because there's 120 votes in the poll. And 57% says they're frustrated Deadwood won't leave. And 17% says happy so far, but we need a lot more. And then another 17% says not stressed at all, just vibes here. So big up for that. And then 8%.
Admit I'm in the 8% there. Same old Spurs.
Same old Spurs not getting it right.
Too often.
I always try to represent all sides here. I'm never going to ask on this channel in a poll, have you liked and subscribed? Because honestly, that's for you to know. And if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't, right? It's a free universe. I'm always going to ask how you feel about something or what do you think about something. And I try to get all... people were giving me grief this week. I had some piss takes, I guess. I was trying to do like, what would Scott M say? What would his answer to this question be? And have that as a representatory of like someone who's not feeling it right now. And then I also want my feelings to be in there. And then maybe a little bit delusional, optimistic type. And then also, you know, who knows what the fourth one will be. But I always try and represent all factions here of the fan base here. So hopefully y'all feel seen and heard when I present those options. I've been saying YouTube needs to add an option where users can put in a fourth option, user input option, and we can see.
No, you really don't want that.
But if everyone did it correctly, though,
then I would be a troll then for sure.
You'd be like, you'd put something silly in there.
Yeah, every time. Every time.
Keep getting in your questions. I'll keep starring them, and I will only be interrupted for the likes of Ben Kaufman and Moondog hitting us with the super chats tonight. Ben Kaufman with a super chat wants to get a message across to Kuva. Says Kit Kat equals chocolate bar.
That is some friend to have for the channel. He's prepared to spend £2 to be utterly wrong in front of everybody.
He's also got the YouTube membership, so he's doubled up. Patreon member, tripled up right now to tell you. Kit Kat equals a chocolate bar. You know, for me, it's candy. It's a candy.
It's a wafer biscuit with chocolate put on the top.
And I would classify that as a candy. Yeah, that's how I think.
That kind of takes it out of.
Because do I find it in the? Do I find a Kit Kat like in America at least? Any American will tell you find it in the fucking candy section, not the wafer, cracker, cookie section. I don't know, a chocolate bar. I don't think it's a chocolate bar because that's just like a Hershey. So it's neither. I think both of y'all are wrong in this long. I think this debate will never be settled on where Kit Kats lie, but
it could be settled. We just haven't done it yet. We're going to consult the holy oracle of Spurs.
Have they emailed? Didn't y'all email Nestle about it and ask, and they refused to respond?
They were wrong. They just didn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, okay,
they seem to think it's a chocolate when it's a biscuit.
Moving along.
Anyway, we were going to email Paul Stewart, see if he'll give us the answer. I think we agreed we will all settle for
whatever Paul Stewart. Okay, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Got a bunch of questions started, so we'll run through them quickly. Bobby Andrews question: realistically, what do you think we can get through? What do you think we could get through the doors? I've called this from the start of the window. We'll sign either a right winger or a striker. Clement Longley and Calvin Phillips on loan from City. I don't think we'll get Calvin Phillips on loan from City, but if we did, I like that player. He was Leeds' best player for a few years. Quality player. Don't get it twisted just because he rides the bench at City that he doesn't got talent. There's a reason they bought him. I would take him. Clement Longley, no thank you. I know Ange Postecoglou has said he doesn't want him. Anytime that they've kind of dangled the Clement Longley at him, he said no thank you. But that's for me. Kuva, do you see anything differently there?
Realistically get through the door, I think the obvious one for a lot of fans will just be get that striker in. We've just lost Harry Kane, so
you see it being Brennan Johnson? Do you see it being Brennan Johnson? And are you excited about Brennan Johnson if that does happen?
I think Brennan Johnson's an interesting one because he is lightning fast, and he's also lightning fast with the ball at his feet, which is a really underestimated skill to have. Gareth Bale was obviously brilliant at doing that. Brennan Johnson's one of the quickest around. Is he a natural goal scorer? Probably not. I think he's only got, 1 in 4 or something like that. He'll improve. I don't know how he'll do. But the pace is a great asset to have, especially since we've got some players like, Sonny's aging a bit. He's not as quick as he was, but I would like to see that explosive pace is a good weapon to have. But there's others that are Gift Orban that we're constantly linked with. Again, this season, he's just banging goals in constantly.
Can't stop. He literally cannot stop.
I would say if we're only getting one person in, Gift Orban.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with and honestly, this guy is versatile enough. If you look at his heat map, look at Brennan Johnson's. Obviously, he was asked to play on the right wing last season. I love Brennan Johnson for the fact that he can come in and provide some competition for Kulusevski, because I think he's a little too comfortable out there, doing okay. I mean, granted, for the Papa Montessar goal, to Michael, what Michael says, he did create. He sent that ball across that ended up finding its way to Papichulo Montessar's feet, but. Gift Orban, absolutely. If you look at the heat map of his, it's like this, but all over the final third. Front, and he's up front, in the middle, on the left, on the right. He plays everywhere, and I think he can play everywhere. He's almost like what I would say like a Mohamed Kudus. Kudus has been used mostly as a central attacking mid for Ajax, but that doesn't mean he can't play out on the right wing, the left wing, or in the striker position, maybe as a false nine, if that's what we try to do. Because honestly, I want to see us get more out of our attack. And we need competition, and we need goal scorers. Gift Orban checks all those boxes in one fatal swoop. So if it is one, I think it does have to be Gift Orban personally for me.
We are creating a lot of chances. What we're not doing is being clinical with it. Richie, especially when he does get a chance, he doesn't find the back of the net. Like, let's face it, Harry Kane was brilliant for us. Such a clinical finisher. That's why I say Gift Orban, because he can find the net. He just knows how to get the ball in the net, and that you just need somebody doing it on a regular basis. Like it's got to be him for me. There are alternatives, but he's the one that is just on the hot streak at the moment. You can't ignore all those goals going in.
No, you cannot. Brennan Johnson, to his defense, last season in 33 matches started, he scored 8 goals. And Nottingham Forest, which they weren't really a threatening side, so that's actually kind of good if you think about it, to score 8 goals as a right winger for Nottingham Forest, or I guess maybe a right striker, I'm not sure. 3 assists, so he's contributing. I watched some highlight reels on him to try and see if I could get myself, highlight comps, they always... whatever narrative you're trying to make, you can have a comp for that for any player. So I watched some hype comps to try and get me hype, and at first I was unimpressed, but he's had some decent strikes. 22 years old, might not be a bad little bit of business if we could get, like I said in the beginning of the show, one of our pieces of deadwood out the door on the opposite direction. We tried with Ndomble. He don't want to go.
Yeah. Never look at just the stats. You've got to look at the context always. It's one of the ones I always love bringing up in these conversations. Would you sign a striker that scored 23 goals in 118 games when they've only ever been playing striker? Doesn't sound too good, does it?
No.
But that was Alan Shearer at Newcastle.
Well,
that was also Thierry Henry before he went to Arsenal.
Interesting.
So
I mean,
I always stages of development as well. Players
absolutely. Absolutely. I think context is key in every scenario, right? You can always, the stats, the numbers, they never lie, but they can also support narratives for what you're trying to. So, in some degree, I always do it 50-50 for me. Eye test, reality test, and then the other half is statistics. What do the stats back up what my eyes told me in this match is how I personally use stats. And I also like it for, I can't watch every fucking league. I can't monitor every fucking player. So it's nice when I can pull up something and see what spaces does he occupy is something I like to look at. What is his, how often is he used? And then, how do they operate as a team? And you can find all those statistics on SofaScore, so it's really easy to find. But big up, yeah. If I had to do one bit of business, I'm going to say Orban as well. Let me keep it moving to the next question. Says, let me. YouTube chat member says, question, why am I following Ange to new... Bless you. Why am I following Ange to new clubs and listening to fan channels? Am I trying to avoid life? It sounds deep as hell, so I'm going to ask you that, Kuva. Yeah. Maybe.
Why not? I mean, football fans... There are a lot of fans that just enjoy football wherever it's being played. And if you get a manager that just plays gets his teams playing in with that kind of style, why not follow them around? Well, if you're enjoying it, it's enjoy what you're watching. That's what it at the end of the day. Otherwise, why bother him? It's just a statistics game otherwise.
Yeah, and I love the fact that everywhere he's gone, he retains loyal fans to him because they love what he did for their club and what he brought for them. So that was always that's always a good sign for me. Next question from Alan Bennett says, Kuva, what is the best goal you've seen live? Mine or Hoddle chip at Watford or Gaza in the semi. What about you?
Seen the same one. Yeah, Hoddle's chip against Watford is just one of the most exquisite pieces of skill you'll ever see. The turn in just inside the area that leaves the defender completely bewildered as to what's just happened, and then having the presence of mind that instead of just blasting it at the goal like a lot of people will do, he just chipped it across the goalkeeper and just dipping under the bar over the back of him. He had no chance of it whatsoever. And Hoddle, it was just so easy for him. He made everything look easy. He's got a highlight reel of amazing goals though. Really has. I think other ones I've seen live, Ginola against Barnsley, the dribble that went through about 1 million players. That was fun. One of my personal favourites was a goal from Gary Mabbutt. It doesn't sound like a big deal or anything, but he just had this week where he'd got his first England cap and he scored a goal there, but for England. But he scored this diving header for us as well. It was thundering. It was really summed up his Lionheart attitude for the team, and I'll just remember that goal really well. Darren Anderton as well scored an absolute belter. I'm trying to remember who it was against now. He was about 2.5 miles out, and he let fly, and the ball just went in like an absolute exocet and swerved into the far just inside the far post. Absolute brilliant. Leeds, yeah. Kev Williams remembers it, yeah. Fantastic goal. And it was even better if you're like roughly behind the goal in line with it. That's always great with those long range shots where you can see the whole thing coming at you. Anything blessed like that, it'd brilliant. Other live goals, there's a lot that have been over the years. They just think, wow. Even some tap-ins, because it's been a great build-up game, attack as well. Team goals can be fantastic. Too numerous to think of though. But yeah, Hoddle against Watford, that was special. Also, Hoddle's final goal against Oxford United in the league. And he just took the ball in his own half, dribbled to the halfway line, just did a little fancy bit of footwork, and it left the entire Oxford defence completely beaten. Dribbles it onto the goalkeeper, sells the goalkeeper a dummy and leaves him on the floor, just rolls it in. It just looks so easy. He looked like he was playing against school kids. What a player.
Great. I loved it. That was a great answer for someone who didn't get to witness those things. A couple things I wanted to bring up regarding well, I think I don't know where I went. Mabbutt played as a diabetic. Yeah, that is why Mark Cousins, the sheriff, loves him. They both share that together. I don't know where I had some comment that I wanted to bring up in regards to Brennan Johnson, but I'll just keep it moving to the questions that I have starred. Warren B said almost about an hour ago, question, if we're going to sign a forward, what chance does Parrott and Scarlett have of getting minutes? I would say at this juncture, Parrott has 0 chance of getting minutes. I heard he's already off to a Dutch side. That months ago they were looking at him and that they're just kind of waiting to get the loan deal agreed upon. So Parrott looks to be going to the Eredivisie in some shape or form. Scarlett, Ange Postecoglou has flirted with the idea of keeping around, says if he does stay around, then he sees a player there that could contribute potentially off the bench. But I would say if we sign a forward, he immediately slots in above Parrott, Scarlett, and I would say has to unseat Richarlison.
I mean, Scarlett sat on the bench for a season because he was too young to go out on loan. So nothing wrong with having him out on loan for a season, toughen up a bit, get a bit of a game time, bit of experience on what it's like. I always prefer it when players go to not necessarily clubs that are cruising to promotion, but sometimes it's really good, really character building to get into one of those sides that's struggling a little bit, and they've got to find a way to help the team out when under pressure. I think you learn an awful lot about yourself, and the managers will find out a lot about them in those circumstances. So I think Millwall have always been a good little loan signing for us, because it's just across London, and they fit that bill with regularly flirting down the lower end of the table. Not so much recently, but it's been a regular stopping point for them. I think they just need to have game time at the end of the day. I think Parrott possibly is going to miss the boat altogether. They're getting that vibe about him, perhaps not really being too into doing all the work ethic and everything.
That won't work in an Ange system. I know that much.
Scarlett could well turn out to be an exceptional player. We'll see.
He looks a little more grown up. He looks a little bit more grown up. The half turn finish he had in the preseason was pretty nice. Just remains to be seen. I think maybe another loan deal, but if we get a striker, I would say the chances are very much lower indeed.
Yeah, there'll be no point keeping him on the bench all season and not getting game time. It'd be much more beneficial to loan him out.
This question from Howie Ice says, why don't football teams just cut guys and buy them out of their contracts? And I have this little bit. This is something I referred to often, was a tweet, May 20th, from Paul O'Keefe. Says, in the next few days and weeks, they are going to announce several contracts torn up. The rebuild is ginormous.
I'm sure ginormous isn't an actual word.
I'm going to Google that. I wonder, is ginormous?
Cross between gigantic and enormous, isn't it? People use it all the time.
Per the Oxford Dictionary, it is a word.
Really?
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that didn't start off as one, but they lied it. Anyway.
They probably just shoehorned it in there. It's interesting. I don't know why. When I saw this in May 20th.
I'll tell you what, then. I'm going to make up my own word then. It's not going to be ginormous. It's going to be masgantuan.
Oh, masgantuan. I think that might actually work with Greek etymology as well, for what you're trying to intend the definition to be. But it's unfortunate for me that Paul O'Keefe has said this and it never happened. And he's supposed to be the guy who knows the insides and the outs, right? And it's just one of those funny things, you know. You can't always be 100% correct, I guess. But I don't know why.
It's an interesting one. And probably this is a perfect time you'd have Sean Butler on the show and he can talk you through, the financial accounting reasons for doing that and writing players off for certain things that I don't care about enough to research into, but there are reasons why you're better off to do it this way sometimes. We'll wait and see. At the end of the day, we can't have a 30-man squad, can we? So
Masgantuan is spectacular, says Caveman. So everyone's on the Masgantuan train. I think you might be onto something, my friend. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I pronounce the word a little funny. My bad, Mr. Paul O'Keefe. Next question. Rolling right along here. C. Shearman says, have you watched Peaky Blinders, Jacob and Kuva? I have not. I tried, and I fell asleep in the first episode after 20 minutes. Not an indictment on the show, however, or how I was just super tired, and then never tried it again. Should I give it another go, Kuva?
Yes, it's a damn good show.
Okay.
It depends if you like those sort of gritty gangster type things. With it's obviously a bit set in the back in the day a bit, but
I've seen all the memes of that actor, the main actor in that. But
the Murphy, isn't it?
Clyde Murphy.
No, I've forgotten the first name.
Syrian
really
Murphy.
Irish. Yeah.
Syrian, yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Tom Hardy pops up in it as well.
Jamie says Peaky Blinders is class. L says Peaky Blinders is an amazing show. Aaron Dubb, Peaky Blinders tries too hard. It's a bad effort at making a boardwalk empire. Caveman says Peaky Blinders has some football in it also. Okay. Might tune in. I always love anything that can incorporate. It would be cool to see if Tottenham end up making in there, you know. Then you'd love it if
I
they could ever
kind
make an
of get
appearance.
what Aaron Dove said. It's trying to have a match Boardwalk Empire. A Boardwalk Empire was superb.
I love that. Shout out Steve Buscemi. I love that motherfucker so much. Googly eyed bastard. I love him so much. He was such a bad motherfucker in that show too. And normally he's a goofball, and it was just great to see him in that light. I loved it. Next question from Chris Peters says, question, which team has more Deadwood, Man U or Spurs? I'd say that's a tough one. We're calling that a draw? I'll call it a draw.
You know what? I think probably Man United. Because some of the level of signings they're making, those huge money transfers coming in.
100 million on Anthony, and he couldn't even hit the damn target. He could hit the post, but that's about it.
If you're then setting that as the bar, like people trying to measure up to that sort of price tag, then you got a lot of their squad is just Deadwood. Whereas with us, we already know they're not particularly great in some positions. So we've kind of got stuff we're limping along with. That's ours is more functional, if you like. Functional Deadwood. At least you can step on it.
And it won't completely break yet until you put all your weight on it. Good
You don't trust it, but it's there.
The Swim Master question, didn't Marino put Dyer in defense from midfield? If we can't get him out, can he have a place back in midfield, even if just an occasional squad midfield option? I say hell no. I think it's a mentality thing for me. Physically, if he could, talent-wise, if he could, I don't really give a damn. I don't want loser mentality at my club. That's just kind of where I stand. I don't like him at all anymore. I don't want to see anything involving Eric Dyer unless it's a goodbye video. And trust me, it will be an emotional moment, but not in the way that the Harry Kane leaving was emotional. Emotional in the sense of, honey, put on the red panties. It's red panty night when Eric Dyer's sold. I'll just put it that way. Zortex question, do you think we can possibly sign 2 players before the end of the window and come top 5 this season because there's extra UCL spot now? I'll go ahead and answer it real quick, Kuva, and then I'll let you. I think we could possibly sign 2 players before the end of the window. Yeah, no doubt we could. And come top 5, I see no reason why we can't unless we fail to do some more business and continue to improve. But again, I don't want to put these expectations on where we're going this season. I don't want to say top 4, top 5. Honestly, I want personally Europa Conference League. I think that's a good stepping stone for Ange and the European competition for us. I think he would take it seriously and would get the players to take it seriously. And that's a legitimate trophy we could win. Because if we get top 5, top 4, we're playing in Champions League. I love Ange, I love Spurs, but there's no way in hell we're fucking winning that. And I want to win some damn trophies, and I know Ange wants to win every trophy he has a chance of winning. So it's all possible. It's all absolutely possible. I don't necessarily think that I want Champions League, because why? Well, I don't want to compete in a competition. Europa League, sure, we might have a chance for that if we continue to build our squad in in a positive manner, in an Ange light. Then yeah, sure, Europa's maybe doable as well. That's kind of where I stand, anyways. What about you, Kuva?
Yeah, I think very much the same thing. I was an advocate for us getting a Europa's place instead of a Champions League spot last season. Ended up with nothing. Could work out for us, but this season, 2 players, if we can possibly sign 2, if it's a striker, and we're saying that a lot of us saying defender or defensive midfielder. For me, I think we need another player with a little bit of something magic, a little bit of something special that can unlock defenses. I really do like Eze at Crystal Palace. I think he's a real bundle of tricks. Yeah. I would like to see a signing like that. Let's face it, right now, Maddison's injured. And we're suddenly thinking, oh my God, there goes some of that creativity straight away. We're starting to look around. You suddenly realise we're a bit thin up front at the moment. Kane is not going to be dropping deeper to link up play and create chances for others like he used to. We've got to find other ways. That means we've got to have some players that can do it. Can't rely on just Maddison as the sole creator behind the front man. Yeah, let's get the attackers in first. I think we can kind of limp along with the rest of the defensive options as is. As we talked about earlier, Sanchez did okay when he came in. I think he can play in this system, and it suits him a lot better than having to do all the defending on the edge of his box for 88 minutes of a game and try and be perfect. This allows for him to make a few mistakes. He's got the pace to recover. I think we just want to get that bit of creativity in. So when we're up against these teams like Brentford, when they played the low block, and we really struggled to break it down in the second half, just have that little bit of unpredictability, that little flair. And somebody that's great at dribbling past players, getting into the box is always a good thing. Wish Lucas Moura had done more of it, when he gets into the box rather than outside it.
Yeah. He had a great goal for the club he plays at now. I don't know the name, Sao Paulo or something like that.
Yeah.
He had a great goal for them, and he was crying on the field, praying to Jesus, having a good time. So, shout out Lucas Moura. To me, the right wing options, Brennan Johnson has to be considered because that's obviously the name being circulated. But I heard that he was the third option behind. I think second option was Nico Williams from Atletico Bilbao, which I followed Nico Williams because I think he's a hell of a player. Him and his brother Inaki are really talented, but I'd take Nico because he's younger and he plays out on the wing. Inaki plays that striker role. And then also there was, but they said his release clause was too high, or something. You don't get gift Orban because he's too expensive. You don't want to pay this because that's release clause is too high. To me, it's worrying. It's worrying, but I'm not too worried yet. Let's see. Got another question here from Marshall. Do you think you'll be happy with Kane's sales if we don't spend the money in the window? I know I still think that amount for a player with 1 year left is still impressive. Do you think you'll be happy with Kane sales if we don't spend the money this window?
Easy for me. No. You can't let your best player, and let's face it, he was our best player, absolutely legendary striker, leave the club and then just not replace him. You're shooting yourself in the foot straight away. What worries me is we may have already been spending that money because we're well aware we were going to sell Kane, in which case some of these little signings are actually the Kane money. Then again, Levy did insist on a big chunk of the cash up front for Kane, didn't he? So that suggests it's for spending immediately. Wait and see. I think it'll be a disaster if we don't get more, though.
I agree.
Not a disaster, but
I don't need to spend all the money. Yeah, I don't think I need to spend all the money. But you give me a gift Orban, you give me another center back, you give me Tosin, you give me Orban, and Nico Williams. And then you still get to keep another 20 mil. Put that in your pocket, Levy. I don't give a shit. You just gave me 3 ballers. 3 people that immediately give us depth and availability in areas in which we are lacking. Competition in areas in which we are lacking.
I think this is one of the biggest criticisms I've always had about Levy is it's the timing of things. We're doing things so late in the window that we're danger of missing out entirely. And even if we do get it done, how long does it take the player to settle in? How many points are you giving up where they could have helped you turn a draw into a win? It's all these factors into it. It's why I always admired Man United during the Sir Alex Ferguson era. They would get all their business done really early. He would go out on holiday, come back, and it's a settled squad. Everybody knows what they're doing, and it's straight into pre-season. There was no fuss. Everything drags on every single window. Even when we think we're getting these things done early, still manage to find a way to drag it on. It's so rarely we actually get everything done decisively. It's always the little bits of haggling and the little bits of trying to squeeze a bit more out of it. Looks great on a spreadsheet. Doesn't look so great on grass. Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Kuva. And go sub to the 3 Spurs boys. Appreciate you, Ben, putting that link in there. Bobby K, Kuva, and the 2 little Kuvas, little Bobbies, not little Kuvas. That'll be some YouTube drama. Yeah. Turns out these are Kuvas. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to the questions. I'm also just real quick want to say, Moondog, thank you so much for all these super chats. You're absolutely flattering me today, and thank you, Ben Kaufman, as well. Liverpool 12th man says, United Spurs America, who out of your signings do you expect to see the most return from and why? James Maddison, I think, has already played for his price tag at this point. The 2 assists week 1. That's the fancy footwork, the picking the ball up in our box, driving it beyond the halfway line. These are things that we've lacked, and he has that. And just hope his injury isn't too bad. What about you, Kuva? Who do you expect to see the most from as far as our signings?
Well, it's kind of cheating. It's not the signing we made this summer, but it's the previous summer. Bissouma. He's like a new signing already.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I mean, all the ones we got. Look at them. Solomon looks like he might have something to offer. Van der Ven already looks the part. He's going to have that Jan Vertonghen influence over the team by the looks of it for me. Quicker than Jan as well.
Humble brag, Kuva. I don't know if you remember, but in January, I was saying, go get Mickey Van der Veen right now. He walks into this 11. I've seen him play in the Bundesliga because I did pay more attention to Bundesliga. I paid more attention to. I try to pick a team from every league and watch. And then if someone on the opposition impresses me, I have a little app and I follow them. Now I know when they play, and I know their statistics after every match, even if I can't watch.
Who's your German team, by the way?
Leverkusen.
I picked Bayer Leverkusen. I'm Mainz Funfer. So it's,
Mainz.
Yeah.
But I remember this kid, I saw him play versus Leverkusen. I was like, who the hell is this kid from Wolfsburg? And then I watched him again, and then I started paying attention to when he played, and was like, then that clip came out of him doing that end-to-end sprint goal-saving effort, and I was like, this just solidifies what I've been saying. And shout out Sean from Spurs Talk Show. He gave me some props. He said shout out to Jacob for scouting this guy a long time ago. But it's one of those times, Kuva, I guess it's nice to eat a little bit of the pie that I think that I had a part of, at least saying this is the flavor we should get, and we got it. So it's interesting how that works out.
Jack Kanicki, he was also really good, picked up on a lot of the players in the Bundesliga as well, in particular. And
Jack Kanicki scouted.
Who said these Americans don't know anything about football? Hey,
that my theory is us Americans work double as hard to prove the fact that we do know ball.
To that. Yeah, I agree.
You know, and I do think there's something to that. Jake Kismat says, question for you, bro. Who's winning the Newcastle-Liverpool game on Sunday? I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-2 draw. What about you, Kuva?
I just can't predict Liverpool at the moment. I haven't seen them play enough with all these player changes.
Good call.
I think Newcastle are going to nick it.
Okay.
I think they just defend so well. I think they're going to nick it 2-1. Good
shout. 2-1. Aaron Dubb, question, what's the story with the Argentinian kid we signed? Alejo Veliz, nice young bright star, but Ange Postecoglou did say that this is definitely one for the future, that he's going to need at least a year to acclimate to England. So that sounds like not a part of the plans this year. He hasn't even been on the bench or appeared for the U21s. So I'm not really alarmed there. I think he's still waiting for his work visa, if I'm not mistaken. He can't even train with us technically. He has to train by himself because he doesn't have his work visa as a young kid. So I think that's what the story.
That's a real heartbreaker for him.
Yeah,
it'll make it so much easier for him if he can be there training with the first team squad.
Think about it.
Los Celsos and Romeros and that around to just help him along a little bit. Yeah, shame. But yeah, I don't know enough about the kid. I really don't. I've seen all the hype. Everybody, lots of people saying he's the next big thing, sort of thing. But if he was that great, surely he would have done the usual route, Ajax or Barcelona, that sort of direction. Who knows? Perhaps
to me, this felt like part of the business. Doing the Alejo Veliz, it reminded me of the Ay Papi Chulo Matesar deal, the Destiny Ugodi deal, where this is a young guy that clubs are after, and we need to get it over the line no matter what, at what cost. Just get it over the line, loan him back to the club, whatever it takes. This one, luckily, he was like, no, don't loan me back. I'm coming. And so To me, this could be one that ends up, we're going to look back and say, wow, we really did something good there. And it'll get me and people like me to shut up about the fact, why don't we do these Brighton type deals? Go get these unheard of gems and pull them up. These, Julian Alvarez that Pep Guardiola can find. Let's find some for our own. And I think that this is the start of that. I don't know why I slapped my microphone about it, but
it was a bad microphone.
Naughty microphone.
I love it when you talk like that.
We will be ending the show very, very shortly. We're almost up on 2 hours. It's been a massively long stream, but 117 of y'all have hit that like, and I'm absolutely thankful for y'all. 137 votes. Over half of y'all are frustrated that the Deadwood won't leave. 10% say same old Spurs not getting it right, which is definitely absolutely fair to say. We just got a super sticker from Aaron Dubb. Big up. Aaron Dubb with a super sticker. Let me see what it is. It is a dancing celebratory, looks like an avocado or a pear. It's a pear, and they've got a headband on, and they're dancing and they're cheering. So appreciate you, Aaron Dubb, hitting us with a donation for the channel. That means a lot. Let me make sure I have that started, so at the end I can thank everyone who went above and beyond the call of booty to hit that like and subscribe. You see how I did that instead of Call of Duty? I said call.
Yeah, I'll see that.
You like that one? I try to slip that one in there. But big ups to everyone who has hit that like, and thank you again, Moondog, Ben, and Aaron Dubb for the donations tonight. Jamie Gitz says, every time you say Papi Chulo, Adama gets very jealous. Adama plays for Fulham now. Fulham are going to be a problem. They got Calvin Bassey, defender from Ajax, a nice little defender I wouldn't have mind us picking up. And they got Adama Traore on a free masterclass of business. Raul Jimenez. They've got some pieces. Fulham. They're doing something.
I've got a feeling they might
so
struggle a bit.
You think so? No, I think they're going to beast. I think they're going to be beasts.
They started so well last season, and they really fell away a bit, and they never recovered from it. It was, I think the magic sort of disappeared quite quickly. But we'll see. We'll see.
Very off topic, and I don't want to take long on this, Kuva, but have you seen the latest thing going on with people on TikTok? I don't explore this, but I only see what trickles into Twitter, and it's like this NPC thing where people just send them fucking hot dogs and popcorn and stickers and stuff, and it's just like there's this girl, and she's just literally just standing there waiting for you to buy stuff, and then she'll be like, popcorn, yum yum, thank you so much, and they're like, ooh, ice cream. Thank you. And like, ooh, got me feeling like a cowgirl. And they got a little cowboy hat on. And like, it's super weird. And but this lady makes like $7,000 every hour that she does this. And so Mr. M hit me with the comment, ice cream so good. 7,000 an hour. And all you got to do is just, when you get like a super sticker come in, if it's avocado, avocado so good. That's it. Thank you for the $5. And it's insane. But anyway, I don't want to digress. Let me keep it moving along. Question from Daniel E. Why is it a lot of Spurs fans have criticism for going for players like Jonathan David or even Brennan Johnson when, let's be real, a year ago no one had even heard of Orban? This is true. I did hear of Orban last season. Watched him in the Conference League. Was brilliant. I honestly thought this was one of those. I never even I suggested it to Michael. I may have mentioned it once or twice on air, which I don't even know when I would have, but this guy just couldn't stop scoring last year. And I was like, Michael, pay attention to this guy from Ghent. I don't know where the hell Ghent is, but this guy, he just can't stop scoring. And I was always like, he'll go to a Liverpool or United or City, just watch. It's not one that'll ever come to us. Then he had the quote that came out where he's kind of shitting on Arsenal, so I never thought it would happen. But I think Spurs fans just have ideas of what they want to see come in, and when you present something that doesn't fit into that mold, much like how people felt about Sonny being a captain. They said, he doesn't fit the mold of a leader, Kuva. He doesn't fit my idea of a Roy Keane type captain. What's that?
I said that.
Oh, you did? Well, there you go. Perfect person to have on while I boast a little bit about who's wearing that armband. But anyway, that's just me, Daniel. I think that's what it is. But Kuva, did you have anything you wanted to add on to this question?
Quite often it's just laziness, isn't it, for a lot of us? If you don't really know who a player is, you're thinking, you get linked with the Gvardiols, the those sorts of players, and then somebody comes in who you haven't heard of, and you're suddenly thinking, well, it's not really the top of the range, is it? So are we going budget again? There's a kind of bias towards it. Big name signings will always get people ranting and raving one way or another.
Right, like Lautaro Martinez, fantastic striker, all around a complete striker. But when we were rumored with him, I said no, thank you. Fantastic player, but I just, I think we all have preconceived ideas of what would work here, what we want to see personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ice cream so good, gang gang. That's also another one. I think those are dollar stickers that they put in for that NPC.
I've no idea.
I'm gonna find it on Twitter and I'm gonna send you a tweet. All right, no, and just watch this lady. She's just accepting gifts and getting paid big bucks for it. It's kind of quite crazy. Orban so good, gang. Do
you think the viewers would like it if it's a sort of pasty white middle-aged Englishman from the West Country?
I would pay.
Yeah,
I would pay.
You would.
I would pay, Kuva. I'm sending you a hot dog so you can say, hot dog, so good, thank you. Ooh, got me feeling. I love this one. Orban's so good.
More to my taste, wouldn't they? Like, Cornish pasty.
7K a day. Talk to me nicely, just to say gang. Oh, and then I don't know what it's always sexual, Kuva. I don't know what it is, but she has popcorn on a hair straightener, like a single kernel, and she puts it on a hair straightener and pops single kernels of popcorn as well. It's the strangest. I don't know what's going on. It's very weird. But back to Spurs. Sorry, the gang just keeps ice cream so good. They even made it into a song. It's fucking hilarious. Big up Danny Kiriakou in the houses. Big up lads. Big up Kuva. YWC. It's nice to see the number one YWC. What is that acronym there?
I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, tell me. All right, I'll take that.
Big up Danny, though.
Yeah, big up Danny. Big up David Gray tapping in. Big up everyone in the chat. Make sure you are hitting that like. Got a couple more questions started, and then we will sign the show off. From Kevin Williams says, question, if you had to pick one to play in your first 11, Dyer or Maguire?
Maguire for me.
Yeah, I'll go Maguire just because it's not Dyer.
I think he is capable of dominating both penalty areas. He has done it in the past. Dyer, never seen that.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. He could be worse than Eric Dyer. I just don't want to ever see Eric Dyer again. That's where I stand. It's a little rough of a stance, but that's where I'm at. Captain Grandma, last question says, did you see Dyer's attempt at sprinting in today's training video? It was pathetic. I did not see it, but I will be watching it after this because I always love a good comedic value training video. Because yesterday's, there was one that came out, Kuva, you probably didn't see it, but if you listen to it, they were doing little sprints. The camera wasn't on him, but you can hear all the coaches saying, come on, Tanguy. Good, Tanguy. Yes, Tanguy. And to me, it sounds like Tanguy and Ndombele was doing something good, and they were just running. So I think they were
they're desperately trying to motivate him.
I think that's what it could be. Yeah. Just do something, Tanguy.
Make it sound good on the audio, so other clubs will think, oh, yeah, he's putting the effort in that. We'll make a bid. He's probably sitting in the dugout with a cheeseburger.
Oh, I can't wait for Ndombele to have a resurgence when Giovanni Lo Celso can't push it for more than 2 matches in a row, and Tanguy Ndombele has to step in and be Spurs number 10, and then we see him versus Fulham with a hat trick of an assist and a couple goals. Everyone gonna be singing a different tune, but that's probably not gonna happen. Let's be honest here.
That sounds like the sort of bet that Moondog needs to put on.
Real quick, Kuva. For the weekend, do you have any cheeky bets going that you want to let anyone know of?
I haven't really looked at it much. Fully confident about us winning at Bournemouth. I could have a quick look at the fixture list, actually. Being too busy with other things, I'll just take it as it comes. All I'm worried about is I enjoy what I'm seeing for Spurs. The rest of it, I'll take whatever's coming away. Fixtures where we
got Bournemouth at the weekend, and then we have Fulham,
Let's see. Arsenal to beat Fulham, Brentford to beat Palace, Wolves to beat Everton. I think Forrest are going to get a cheeky draw at Man United. That'll probably be the one I might go for a bit of an outsider.
Brennan Johnson with a hat trick before to send himself off, maybe?
Maybe. And I think Brighton are going to annihilate West Ham.
Ooh, I hope so. A little bit of maybe the winner gets to sign Mohamed Kudus because they're both after him. Maybe that's what.
Maybe.
Big up Zapur. Better late than never. Lateness is greatness. You can always watch us back on playback. We will be ending off here. It has been. We just hit over 2 hours. So if you haven't hit a like yet, I don't see why not. We just gave you 2 hours of pure entertainment, unadulterated greatness. I don't even know what unadulterated means personally. I've just heard it in advertisement for stuff. Unadulterated fun.
The boring result of a night out with a lady. No, let's not go there. Oh, by the way, Kev Williams. No, I don't have my own channel, but I sort of share hosting with
on Three Spurs Boys.
Three Spurs Boys, and on Ben Kaufman's coffee company.
The coffee company, yeah.
On Wednesdays we do.
Ben, if you're still there, drop the links. Kevin Williams is looking to subscribe. Daniel says 3-0 at Bournemouth. All right, that's a good little shout. And Dombele Sai was all in for his resurgence, but he seems completely checked out. Like he doesn't even want to play. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. But yeah, it means without adults. David Calvillo. Big up every single person who tapped in, whether live or on playback. I hope you know that you are appreciated on this channel. I'm going to see if I can set up a cheeky little redirect to somebody, see who's live, but I will send you only to good people. But before I say goodbye, let me make sure to say thank you very much to Moondog for not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 super chats on the day. It's got to be a new record for a number of super chats from an individual. So big up Moondog. Thank you so much for going above and beyond the call of booty here to help the channel grow and succeed. You are doing the most. And so is Ben Kaufman with a $2 super chat as well. He's a YouTube chat member and he's super chatting, double dipping. And I ain't got no problem with that as long as it ain't in my salsa. And Aaron Dubb with a €5 super sticker. Big up, Aaron. Thank you for doing that as well. All 3 of y'all went above and beyond the call of booty to help us grow here at United Spurs America. Hit that like and subscribe or hit the dislike. I encourage you to do whatever your heart tells you, whatever your feelings are. Just let it be known. Let it, share the love or share the hate, whatever. Just don't hold it in, man. It's not good for you. And there's the link for 3 Spurs Boys. You can catch Kuva every other Saturday there for Kuva and the King. And then at the Coffee Company, they had a show this Wednesday. Go to this channel. Go watch it. They had a lot of fun. Had Queen Ellie. Kate was there. It looked like a lot of fun. I was just waking up, so I didn't get to watch the whole thing. But go watch it there. You see some more Kuva at the Coffee Company and at 3 Spurs Boys. So go on.
I think I'm going to try and make more of an effort this season to get back onto the Irish Hotspur a lot as well. I used to swear I sort of started off everything online.
Okay.
So, yeah, they'll always have time for David and Jack. So I'll get over on the fan shows a bit more. I'll try and do that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, big up to Irish Hotspur. Big up Dave and Jack every single time. They're very... Sean, Sava... Perchy, all people who are very helpful to the channel here and all very helpful in this community that we got going. So just pleasure to be a part of it. I'm pleasure that y'all tuned in. We had like 120 chilling for most of the show. That's absolutely phenomenal. 125 likes on the video. Cannot be upset with the way that y'all showed love and showed out tonight. Y'all helping me stay fresh, and you helping me stay blessed, not fleshed. That sounds inappropriate. Zapur says, what about Call of Footy? I kind of like Call of Booty. It just roll off the tongue real easy. Call of Booty, come on. It does, doesn't it? Tap in, just never tap out, says Jamie. Absolutely. Getting a lot of love here in the chat. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all who stayed and enjoyed it. Hit that like and y'all shared the love. I feel it all the way over here in Texas. But until next time, Kuva, is there somewhere you want to tell people where they can find you next? Or do y'all have a show on Saturday at 3 Spurs Boys? No, y'all off this Saturday?
I'll pop up all sorts of channels. Quite often going with Sava, Brian Daigle on Tottenham on tour.
Okay.
As well, he always says if I'm up in the mornings about, then I'm always welcome to go on. So I kind of have these open invites with a lot of people. But Yeah, just around the channel. So
yeah, and this is one of the places as well.
I've had a lot of time for it lately. That's the trouble. As soon as I finish moving, I'll be streaming a lot more.
There we go. Gonna get more kuva, and who doesn't want a more kuva in their cup of coffee? I tell you what, I always want more kuva in my cup of coffee. But as always, I will be sending y'all off. I hope you have enjoyed this show. This has been episode number 35 of the Untitled series. You like that, Kuva? I didn't even come up with the title of it. Perchy suggested just call it the Untitled series, and I've kind of just gone with that since, because you know what? It's a lot easier than coming up with some kind of wacky title that try and get people tuned in. So this has been episode 35. I hope you've enjoyed it. I surely have, but don't call me Shirley. And I appreciate everyone who was here talking to me nicely. I will be sending you over to Sarcasm City TV, which starts in 1 minute. So get on over there. Hit a like, subscribe, even if you're just over there for a short amount of time. Just say what's up to him. Sarcasm City TV, flawless, really good guy, really cool guy. Has really good discussions, really good panels. So I would never send you anywhere I wouldn't feel that you will be taken care of. Big up Ensman TV as well. What's up, Kuva?
Final thought for me was the people in the chat tonight. Really respectful to each other. Good conversations going. Love to see it.
Immaculate vibes. That's what we strive for here on United Spurs America. Yeah. Big up to everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. John Fitzpatrick, no worry about dropping a link. I'm redirecting you. So as soon as this stream ends, you will be sent over to Flawless. Just say that Jacob sent you. Hit a like, hit a subscribe. You don't have to stay the whole time, but just say what's up to him. He's a good guy. He's a United fan, but he's a very non-biased United fan. And he calls it, he shoots it straight, and that's what I love about him very much. Makes it hard to banter him because he's like, yeah, I know we were shit. Mason Mount, we shouldn't have signed him. So he knows. Very, very intelligent man, very good guy. So I wouldn't send you anywhere otherwise. But go show some love to all the people who put in a lot of work. But anyway, that's going to be it for us. Kuva, appreciate your final thought. My final thought is, Kuva, it's just so damn good to have you back sharing the screen with me, honestly. So that's
enjoyed it.
That's my final
always
thought.
Love being on stream with you.
Did not feel like 2 hours, I'll tell you that. It felt like an hour of chat.
It got through a lot of stuff. Driven by the viewers sending in the questions. It's good. Works really well that way.
Yeah, and it's free because not everyone can put $1, $2 for a super chat, but want to ask a question and feel seen and heard. I hear that, I feel that, so I'll always do that, regardless of how big the channel gets. I will always interact with the chat. That's just part of why I do it, because as a viewer and a chatter myself, that's what I value most. I will end the poll. 146 votes. Y'all killed it. 53% are frustrated that the Deadwood just won't leave. And I feel that. Aaron Dubb, Flawless. It's Flawless. His name is Flawless. And I'm going to send you right over there. Don't you worry. Just sit tight. Hang in there. Are we all trusting Ange? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why not? Trusting Big Ange.
100% buy-ins at everything he's offering.
Spurs, Ange vibes are making Spurs fans immaculate. The vibes are always immaculate here on United Spurs America. That's one thing I can guarantee you'll get. Maybe on those pop-up shows they get a little emotional, a little testy with so many different personalities speaking, but the vibes will always be immaculate regardless. But until tomorrow, I will be back tomorrow. Got another special guest lined up already for tomorrow. A little pre-planning. That never happens here, but I actually have a guest lined up for tomorrow. So I will see y'all. It's Kuva. Kuva, it very well could be. You're always welcome. Again, you have an open invitation here on the channel. You have a seat, a permanent seat here at the bar. Don't you worry about that. But hopefully to see y'all all here tomorrow, same time, same place. As always, stay fresh, stay blessed, up the lads, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
And Kuva, you gonna hit him with the quiz. You're gonna give me a little bit.
Quiz.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.